One thing I can say about the 90s is it was a whole lot more carefree. Truth of the matter is most of my girlfriends don't leave home without their lashes and their brows. In the 90s, that just wasn't a thing. Hey guys, I'm Monica, here with Allure, and I'm gonna take you through some of my classic 90s looks. When I think of the 90s, one of the key things that stands out to me is I never left home without my MAC chestnut liner. No matter what you put in between it, you had to have the chestnut liner. It was something I actually learned about from T-Boz, which is one of the incredible members of the group TLC. One thing that was super popular were the reddish brown lips that were so popular for all of us. We all wore them. And a lot of times we wore them and no other makeup. And I learned also the importance of a wax. Waxing not just your body, but the brows. They were very thin, so thin brows and thick lip liners were the key for the 90s girls like myself. Because I started so young, you think about my first record, Miss Thing, and that time I was actually 13 years old. So I wasn't into the eyeshadows, but one thing that I knew was key whenever I would perform, I would make sure that I had some shadow underneath my eyeliner. Yes, it sounds a little bit crazy, but we would smudge or either add a little bit because it gave you a little bit of definition. Back then, we didn't put on lashes often. So that was the way that we made our eyes pop. What I love so much about the 90s is that beauty wasn't defined by your makeup, and it really wasn't totally just defined by your actual look. I really feel like the true beauty and essence of who people were stood out far more than just the trends and the looks and the way that you actually saw a person physically. Now, I'm about to get into some of my 90s looks. The American Music Awards 1998. At this point, I found the girly side, the softer side of who I am. My first album, I was definitely tomboy chic to the 9. But by 1998, this was after The Boy's Mind was released. I was very comfortable with who I was, very outspoken in the way that I approached things. And so my fashion was indicative of that. My fashion was unafraid, fearless. As you see, I have on a dress that is connected to my wrist. You must be fearless for that, because I do not know what I was thinking now. But I do remember this night very well, and I remember feeling, for me to get up and have very simple hair meant that we could turn it up a bit for glam. You know, there's a lot of color around the eyes. It was one of my first times easing into a vamp lip. I feel like the whole look overall still says a lot for who I am now. This is a look that I actually could pull off right now during 2021. What I think makes my American Music Awards look from 98 perfect is because it really fits my body. My skirt is streamlined, it fits my slim physique very well. My top, you can see a little bit, it's more of like a peekaboo, not an all out, and that's still who I am to this day. So this look is one that I look back and I'm more proud versus embarrassed. Soul Train Lady of Soul Awards in 1998 was really special. I remember taking my mom and my brother, and I was always very conscientious of my decisions and not wanting people to follow in my footsteps, especially if it was something that wasn't maybe the greatest decision. I snuck out with a friend of mine when I was very young, and I got my name tattooed around my left arm. And if you look at my look at the Soul Train Awards that year, I wore armbands, which became a really big part of my imaging. It was something that no one forced me to do. I was really trying to decide how I could be fashionable, but at the same time, not say to another young girl at home, go do this, it's okay. And the armbands really took off. People started wearing them, it became a thing. My hair in the 90s started off very shortcut. And when I transitioned into the Boy's Mind era in 1998, I decided that I wanted to have a clean look, and something that I wore a lot before I was in the music business, hanging around my aunt's hair salon, was a center part. As you see, 20 something years later, I'm in a center part right now. But something a lot of people may not know is that back then, we were always told to have a signature key thing. And now in 2021, that's the complete opposite. I can wear red hair, blue hair, short hair, long hair, doesn't matter. Back then, we held on to the things that really signified who you were. And the center part was that thing for me. The Boy Is Mine album cover. Now, one thing I never gave anyone very much say in would be my hair and my makeup. I wanted a clean face because I had just started wearing a different level of makeup. Starting as young as I did, we did the bare minimum, and I think that was a great idea. But at this point, I'm almost 18 years old, and I wanted people to see me as an adult. These photos were picked by Clive Davis, and he infamously named the album The Boy Is Mine. What I love though about the picture and the photo in itself is my attitude is still there. But I've always been very sassy and outspoken. And you can see that in the photo. This ponytail in the top with the back down, I don't know what the hairstyle would be called, is one that I held on to throughout the entire promotions of The Boy Is Mine. So I was really proud of this photo. I was proud of the fact that I was able to show you who I was, but add a little bit of a Model-esque flair, you know, with me wearing something that I would not have normally worn. One thing I can say about the 90s is it was a whole lot more carefree. Truth of the matter is most of my girlfriends don't leave home without their lashes and their brows. In the 90s, that just wasn't a thing. And to this day, I'm still an old school girl. When I do have on lashes, like now, it strips. And when I get ready to walk out of the door, I pop them off. But nowadays, the girls get the individuals, which didn't exist at the time. And the girls are really dedicated to having their look be on point at all times. I appreciate the carefree vibe of the 90s. Natural was in. Now, we did arch our brows, and we arched them way too skinny. It is not cute when you look back now. But I do miss that carefree vibe that existed for us as 90s artists. 1998, The Boy Is Mine video looks. I can still remember one of my favorite looks being the white PJ set I wore with a pair of glasses hanging around my neck. My stylist at that time, he had such a huge personality, God rest his soul, Derek Kahn. And I remember him saying, "These pajamas are going to be all the rave. They're Shanghai thing." And I'm like, what? I'm from Atlanta. What? Say it again. That's Shanghai Tang. And he was saying that they were Shanghai Tang. And these are the moments that I really started getting into high fashion. And I remember us doing 3 flat twists into the ponytail just to do a bit of a twist of the looks we were already married to. But what I do love is the glam. The glam here was so good. I have a very almost bronzy neutral palette happening at the brows. Here, my brows actually looked good. They weren't too thin. And that's when we learned that the lip liner doesn't have to be so loud. And so we learned to smudge it and blend it into your lipsticks and your lip glosses. This is a look I'm very, very proud of when I look back. In the 90s, one of the key things I'll say is very different now. We were all about shine. The glossier, the better, especially on the lips. But I love that now we've come to wearing matte finishes. We've come to wearing stains. The stains don't go away even when you eat. These are all things that we really didn't have in the 90s, because in the 90s, the glossier, the better. So I have my makeup artist, Eva Kim, here. She's been with me for quite some time now, and she really understands the things that I like and I love, but she's gonna be the one that helps me transition back to my 1998 Lady of Soul Soul Train Awards look. I chose this look specifically because it was one that I actually loved then, and I still love now. And also there are trends that you can still kind of merge into what is happening now. It's still okay to wear a bit of shimmer or a little bit of glitter, or to have a cut crease. So I chose that look because it was one that felt like it was from my past, but could still be cool in my present. Things are done so differently now. In the 90s, we love to go heavy in our crease. And so what Eva did was she built that look on top of what I would normally do now. So a heavy crease, a lot of shimmer and glitter and sparkle. And so you have a bit of almost like a shimmery silver happening top and bottom. That was definitely my look on that day. Now, Eva's gonna give me a bit of the gloss from the 90s. So I have a scar in my lip, and typically if she wants me to do a liner, she has me do it because I do it faster. One of the greatest multi-purpose and multifaceted liners I've ever seen is MAC Chestnut, because back then I wore it every day with every color, even sometimes with a red lip. Now, we only use it when we're going vamp. We do not touch it unless we know we're gonna go all the way to the darker palettes. As you see here, as I represent the 90s, we used it and a soft brown in between. And Eva typically never uses one color. She is the layer queen. This is exactly how we rolled in the 90s. We loved some glossiness. This works when you have a B face or a plain face, or at least it worked back then. Thank you, Allure. I hope you guys enjoyed recreating the looks of the 90s with me.